The X Zone Radio Show is heard on radio broadcast affiliates worldwide, including
AM 580 CFRA in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
WPUL AM 1590 in Daytona Beach, Florida.
KOHI AM 1610 in St. Helens, Oregon.
KHRO AM 1150 in El Paso, Texas. And for more information on becoming a professional broadcast affiliate of the X Zone Radio Show, visit
www.xzbn.net
or call toll-free worldwide
1-800-610-7035.
The X Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Fortune teller, can you see what my future's going to be? Can you see it all in your crystal ball? Have you got a dream for me? Fortune teller, is she free? Has she waited just for me? You can see it all in your crystal ball. Tell me that it's meant to be. Tell me, will we meet on a busy corner?
And welcome back, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and XZoneTV.com. 1-800-610-7035 is toll-free worldwide. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, XZoneRadioTV at hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is spiritual advisor and psychic to the stars, Ron BARD. Ron is a world-renowned psychic and spiritual advisor, and the only psychic to ever be featured in Forbes. As chairman and founder of Psychic Media International, Ron has found his calling in life as an advisor to some of the richest and most powerful people around the world. His clientele is the envy of his peers. They range from powerful CEOs of American and Japanese conglomerates to Hollywood celebrities, including Brad Pitt. The amazing part of his story is that Ron was homeless at the age of 15, living in hallways, under steps, trying to keep warm in the New York winter chill. Many believe his experiences in life molded him into the person he has become, which explains why Ron is so giving to so many. Ron BARD has taken his gift and used it to find missing children. He's worked with top law enforcement agencies in the Unabomber case and is considered a trusted source in many complex cases today. Joining me is Ron BARD. And Ron, welcome to the X Zone.
Rob, thanks for having me today.
It's great having you, Ron. Tell me, growing up in the city of New York at the age of 15, homeless, did you ever think that you would be where you are today, talking to the people that you talk to and touching so many lives in a positive way?
Well, first of all, I never thought I'd be talking to you. That's for sure. And it blows my mind. I mean, I remember, wrapping newspapers around my legs to stay warm and begging for quarters and people coming by and kicking you and spitting at you. And, I thought of that not too long ago. I was in a prime minister's office, and I kind of had a flashback, and I remember those days. And I kind of got a good chuckle out of it. I go, here's this guy asking me about his country, and not too long ago I was begging for 40 cents. Well, remember, that's how old I am, when pizza was 40 cents a slice. So it's kind of crazy.
Ron, why do you think people are so mean and so just downright unhuman towards people who just aren't as fortunate as they are at that time?
Well, I think that people, it kind of, in a weird way, it kind of empowers them to do so. That's what I think.
Ron's,
they feel, more powerful and above everybody else.
Well, they're legends in their own mind. Listen, Ron, you and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation Ron Bard is our special guest. 2 websites, www.thechannelchannel.com and www.ronbard.com. That's RONBARD.com. And Ron and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break from right here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Your crystal ball, tell me that it's meant to be. Tell me, will we meet on a... Tell me why you cried and why you lied to me. Tell me why you cried and why you lied to me. Well, I gave her everything I had, but you left me sitting on my own. Did you have to leave me oh so bad? All I do is hang my head and moan. Tell me why you cried and why you lied to me. Tell me why you cried and why...
Exonation Ron Bard is our special guest. Here's a couple of websites, www.thechannelchannel.com and www.ronbard.com. Ron, why do some of the world's most powerful and influential people turn to you for advice?
Why not? No, I'm only kidding. No, sorry, man.
Don't be
I
sorry.
can't help it. I love to laugh.
So do I.
Love to make people laugh. So, I think that people, really, that are very powerful or very wealthy, if you associate the two together, or influential people turn to advice as actually like the common, what we would call the common person, in this conversation. You want confirmation that you're headed in the right direction. Not necessarily that I'm going to tell you, hey, you got to do this, or this is going to happen, or, but it's mostly confirmation and insight to what's going to happen. So let's say, Rob, you got a contract tomorrow to do a voiceover for a Disney flick.
Yep.
And then 3 months before I said, hey, Rob, you're going to get this Disney flick coming to you, but this guy's name, Carl Schmidt, is going to mess up your contract. So when you go down to Disney and Carl Schmidt's sitting there and he's picking his nose or whatever, and you're going to go, oh, no, this is the guy that Ron was talking about. And, you're going to be more careful on how to handle the situation. So it's really more for confirmation and, and also in order not to miss windows of opportunity. So many people in life, because I believe everybody has psychic ability, and so many people don't listen to themselves. And I guarantee that's every single person that's listening. They don't listen to themselves, and they end up kicking themselves in the rear. They go, oh, I should have listened to myself. And it's, like I said, again, it's confirmation, and it's also to not miss windows of opportunity. On the other hand, on an even more serious note, if you were to come to me and I said, hey, Rob, look, I see a small growth on your colon, right? And it's something you weren't aware of. I mean, unless, you're kinky or something, you would know that, right? So, you if you're a little kinky, you may notice a little bit of growth.
Somebody passed me a fork. I've got to poke my eye out with that one.
So let's say, the small growth, you don't see it. I pointed out, you go to the doctor, he goes, oh, wow, thank God you came. And, we catch this growth at an early stage. Or, I see one of the kids, they're out, they're riding their bicycle. I see a blue van, snatch one of the kids up.
Yeah.
And it's something, something for you to keep your eyes open for.
How can...
And, that's why.
Ron, how can someone turn on their full psychic potential or their psychic abilities? Are there certain exercises, or is it just a matter of being aware and listening to your inner self?
Well, jumping jacks and squat throws usually do it.
That's what I've been doing wrong. Yeah.
Only kidding. But really, the way we could really advance ourselves and our psychic abilities is, man, just take a deep breath, look inside ourselves, and the answers are going to be there every time. It's a matter of just trusting what we're feeling, whether it comes from a voice inside your head, whether it comes through you're staring at something and you're seeing something visual. Now, Bob, I'm not talking about watching a hot chick walking down the street and you do a 360.
I can't do that anymore. My wife won't let me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
God bless her then. But, that kind of thing. In other words, follow what, the gifts God gave you. Follow the senses. So many of us, we see things that are so obvious, and then we go, oh, I should have this, or I should have that. So the idea is just, open up, follow your senses, look at people, a little bit more closely, and, the answers are going to come to you. And, the idea is to follow and trust those answers. It's like you, for example. Your career, although you're a famous disc jockey and you're out there and you're global, I see so much more potential and growth in the media business, especially the alternative media space, that you'll see there's going to be opportunities coming in the next 6 months. And you may be feeling that. And, you need to go and follow those feelings. That's the most important thing.
So the old saying where people used to say, follow your heart. Does that still apply in today's society, Ron?
Heart, I don't know, because people have been a little more jaded these days. But yeah, follow your gut. That's a little bit more like it. And you follow your gut, follow your heart, or follow what you're going to follow. But follow it, and you're going to be right 9 out of 10 times.
Is that the gut feeling we get? What some people call what's the word they use? Coincidence? No, not coincidence, but the gut feeling. You get that feeling something is wrong, or you look at the phone, you're thinking about one of your children, you get that phone call, and there's something wrong. Is this part of the psychic ability that we sometimes use?
Yes, that's exactly correct. You just pay attention, and then you're going to have prophetic things happen to you. You are going to prophesize. Everyone has spirit guides around them. And without it sounding hokey, because sometimes people, think, it's a bunch of, hoorah. But, if you follow the different senses and voices around you, and listen to the voices around you, and once you get over the part where you think you're losing your mind, those voices are going to start making sense, because they're going to be prophetic. They're going to tell you that phone's going to ring and something's wrong with the kids. And boom, there you are. You're right. So you just got to, again, just follow all your senses I always find whenever I'm sensing something, whether I'm working on a murder case or a missing kid, I take a deep breath in my nose and out my mouth a few times. I close my eyes. I visualize. I work with photographs, so I'll touch a photograph and I'll, breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. And all of a sudden, through my fingertips, I start to feel different vibrations. And then over time, we learn what that means, what the interpretation means. You get what I mean?
I sure do.
Has that happened to you, Bob?
I used to be a cop, and when I was a cop, I would get these.
Great. That's a perfect example.
I used to get these gut feelings or this intuitive sense about a person that I was talking to or a vehicle that would go by, and I'd decide to roll the reds and pull the vehicle over. My partner would say, "What are you doing this for?" I said, there's something wrong. I just have to check it out. And like you said, 9 times out of 10, bingo, those gut feelings are right.
So you're the one that got me that time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that, but you shouldn't have been speeding.
I just got out, dude. It's all right, though. It's cool.
Listen, you've talked to hundreds of CEOs and government officials around the world, Ron. Where do you see the economy going?
Oh, man. Unless it's not going well, and as much as it may look like it's turning around and the stocks are whatever, it's not going well. And I think if we keep going down this road in 3 to 5 years, we're going to look like a third world nation. And I'm going to tell you why. Unless we start becoming an industrial country instead of a consuming country, we're dead meat. And, you even go to Japan, it's like, I'm in Japan, probably 6 months out of the year. And they're waking up. They're going, hey, we're not industrial anymore. Because after the war, what they did was, like, even if it was toothpicks, everybody had their own business. No matter what it was, they did it by themselves. So it was making toothpicks or napkins or whatever they were doing, they did it. And they were an industrial nation. And now you don't see anything really made in Japan anymore. Now everything's made in Malaysia or Vietnam. And, that's why the Japanese bubble burst, and that's why the Japanese economy went to the crapper, because they followed America, and now they're not an industrial nation really anymore like they once were. So if we don't become a made in America and made by Americans anymore, and we're as consumers, if we don't support that anymore, because so many people are driving Toyotas and so on and so forth, and then they're complaining why their brothers are out of jobs. You know what I mean? So until this country starts turning around and becomes more of an industrial nation like it once was, we're in the crapper. And I'm not talking about, inventing, another technology for a website. I'm talking about, the manufacturing of goods.
Sure. For Americans, by Americans.
I mean, don't you agree?
I certainly do. And you and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Exonation, our special guest this hour is the one and only Ron Bard. Here's a couple of websites, www.thechannelchannel.com and www.ronbard.com. Ron and I return on the other side of this break with the news. Don't go away.
You cried, and why you lied to me. Tell me why you cried, and why you lied to me.
You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network. X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio,
Euro High Definition Radio,
and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035.
Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com.
On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com,
And our website,
www.xzoneradiotv.com. Exonation, Ron Bard is our special guest. www.thechannelchannel.com and www.ronbard.com. Tell me, Ron, as a very gifted psychic and somebody who's tuned into the spiritual realm, do you have a hard time turning it off? Like, for example, when you're with your family or friends and you're in a busy place, how do you turn it off? How do you turn your gift off, your ability?
You really don't. It's like every time you walk by someone, you see in a split second's time, you see from the time they're born until the time they die. Mm-hmm. And, it just takes that, when you're doing a half-hour session, for example,
right.
It takes you that long to articulate what you're feeling. Like I went on a thing once where Japanese TV were doing a thing in a haunted house, and they went there, and then they, all of a sudden you heard like a snap, and I'm like, that was pretty loud. I'm like, I thought maybe someone tried to hold one in, I thought they were passing a little wind, and it made like a snapping noise, and I'm like, you gotta slow that down. And they slowed it down, and the voice went, "Get out." I was like, whoa. But no, you never, ever, ever, ever turn it off. The only thing is, though, it's difficult to read for yourself. When I used to go to bars, I'm married now, but I used to go to bars, and then, you look around, and then you're doing you feel all these readings for all these different people. And then, you would say, well, you get a feeling like, oh, I could beat that girl. I got more slaps across the face, with my psychic ability than you could shake a stick at. So it's crazy. But, this, it's pretty wild. But, no, the answer is no, you can never turn it off. I was at an airport once, and my doctor gave me a medication. I'll never forget this. And it would have been a great reality show. And I took the medication, and about 15 minutes later, I saw this beautiful lady walking by. Mm-hmm. And of course, there I go. I'm like headed off after her. And I went into the airport bar. I think it was like Cheers or one of those airport bars. And I'm sitting. I paid the waitress $50 to let me sit next to her. So I'm sitting next to her, and I start to read her, and I'm telling her how she's going home, and unfortunately she was getting married. But it was fortunate for her anyway, but unfortunate for me. And then I'd read her for about 10 minutes, and then the next person would overhear it, and I'd be reading them, and then the next one you'd be reading them. But no, the answer is no. You can never turn it off. There is never any really lying down time. You can't turn it off, and I don't know. Maybe in a way, nor would I really want to. Mm-hmm. There's times when I find where I'll go to a party,
Yeah.
and people will be like, well, what do you do? I mean, I could easily say I'm a plumber,
Yes.
right? But I don't. I'm all of a sudden, no, I'm a plumber, psychic, nah. And, it's, it's fun as well. So it's good and bad. It's hard when you're talking to someone and you feel they don't have much time left. And then you have to make a judgment call whether to, relay that information. So that's the only time it's really tough that you can't turn it off.
So how do you deal with that? If somebody comes to you looking for guidance and using the abilities that you've been able to tune and fine-tune and retune, you realize that this person here that's sitting in front of you doesn't have much more time on this plane, this reality. How do you deal with it? Do you just tell them, listen, I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is the reading's going to continue, but the bad news is you're not going to be around that much longer.
I usually say, you better take care of your shit quick and in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my language. I usually tell people, you got to take care of your stuff quick and in a hurry. You got to give people enough time to make peace with the people around them. So many people, I always hear this in a reading. I always hear people complaining that their parents hit them or their parents were mean to them. And I guess I always thought my father never slapped me hard enough. Maybe that was my problem. But, these people are always complaining about, how hard their lives are. And I think that when they don't have much time left, I always say to them, if you take your index finger, go ahead if you could do it with me. Take your index finger,
mm-hmm.
and then bend it 3 or 4 times. Okay.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
How many millions of people can't do that? So it's a blessing, right?
Yeah.
So how many people never count their blessings, and they never get a chance to really thank the people that really helped them. It's like, I'll hand them a lighter and I'll go, take this lighter and, imagine that I told you to go find me a red lighter and it took you 3 weeks to find it. And then you gotta, then you hand it to me and then I put it down and I go, oh yeah, and the weather is this, that, and I'd say, what would you think of me? What would you think of me if that happened in your case? You'd say, what would you think?
I think that you really didn't care.
You didn't care, or I was an ungrateful
Yeah.
fat guy. You'd be like, you say, this guy's out of control. But then I stop and go, well, who fed you when you were a kid? Who fed you when you were a kid?
My mom and dad.
Okay, and who bought you toys?
My mom and dad.
And who gave you school clothes?
My mom and dad.
And who did, everything possible when you were sick, and who cried when you were sick?
My mom and dad.
And let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When was the last time you thanked them?
Yesterday.
Well, there you go. How many people can say that? How many people can honestly say that? So the answer to your original question, right,
Mm-hmm.
is that you give people enough time to make peace with people around them. And that's what they should be happy for. Because they're going to cross over anyway.
Right. You touched
And
briefly.
they realize that.
You touched briefly a few minutes ago about ghosts, and I'd like to ask you, what's your opinion about all these ghost and paranormal shows that are on TV these days? Are they a positive or negative influence?
To me, I gotta laugh. They always got some woman or some guy. They're standing by a tombstone and they got smoke and the production is ridiculous. I've been on real cases. It's like I never stood by a tombstone with smoke blowing by me. I might have been blowing smoke from my cigarette. It's crazy. I think they're overproduced and most of them are ridiculous.
And
They really are. So, I think it doesn't. I don't know if it casts good or bad. People that believe, and people that don't. All
right,
it doesn't matter how it's produced.
So tell me, how do you deal with skeptics and or non-believers?
Well, I'm in a way I'm happy that there are skeptics because you can't read them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's not enough time in the day. But I let people believe in what they want to believe in. Usually, skeptics are my best clients because they always come back every single time, and usually the celebrities especially. And most of the celebrities that I do readings for, I pick their scripts and all that kind of stuff. And it started out with, you're full of crap, you're full of it, blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, 9 out of 10 things happen and they come back. So, you let people believe what they want to believe, and you just show them what you can do if you care to do so, and you make believers out of them.
Besides Brad Pitt, what other famous celebrities have you done readings for?
Well, I'm really not allowed to drop names, but I've done obviously Kelsey Grammer. We're partners on the social website, the Channel is a social network,
right?
For all kinds of people that like that content. So it's a lot of fun stuff there. Yeah, you name them, I've probably done them. It's kind of too, it's kind of like being a doctor or a priest. It's not nice to drop names. The reason why when Brad was mentioned, I mean, it was in every tabloid in the world 2 weeks ago.
Well, it just goes to show me that you're a very ethical person, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I could drop names from here to tomorrow, and the only two that were mentioned were, really great people, and they care less. I mean,
Well, still, I respect your professionalism. Ron, the year 2012, December 21st, 2012, is getting a lot of media attention and a lot of hype and is really hot on the internet. I was wondering if you could give me your interpretation of the significance, if any, of that date. Will it be the end of the world?
I hope to have the same conversation with you in 2012 because I think it's going to be like everything. It's going to be nothing. I feel nothing will happen. The only thing that will happen is that, my wife will make me take up another few sets of garbage and stuff like that. Maybe walk the dog a few more times.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Some things never change, no matter if it's Y2K or the end of the world, right? Still have to take that garbage out and walk the dog.
Exactly. Sometimes, it's weird. Sometimes I'll get off the phone. It'll be the head of one of the biggest, like, a president of Sega or, one of these big conglomerates. And, I get all hyped, I get all juiced up, and then some actor will call, and one of these other actors will come knocking on my door. And, I get all hyped up, and then, all of a sudden my wife comes in at the end of the night and bursts my bubble and goes, well, you got to take the garbage out. I'm like,
oh,
reality sets in with everybody, I guess.
Yeah, reality
But,
is...
2012, I hope to fill a few more garbage pails. I hope things go well,
Somebody once asked me, how do you spell reality? And I said, W-I-F-E.
And what is this? How do you, and what is the significance of?
What is the significance?
Y-S-E. What does that stand for?
I don't know. Yes.
Did you say Y-E-S or Y-S-E?
I'm sorry. I thought you said Y-E-S. Y-S-E, I don't know.
Oh. I was going to go, what is that? I'm like, he's laying on some supernatural talk for me, man. So, but it's just weird. It's this whole 20 bit.
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of crap. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. We'll be all doing the same thing with the same, But I do feel there is going to be another terrorist attack, and my biggest fear is it's going to happen in a school.
Oh, no.
An elementary school. And I'm trying to put my finger on it, but I just haven't been able to do it as of yet.
Ron, were you able to get any impressions of the attacks on 9/11?
Well, I was published in a book. It was called Psychic Yellow Pages by Dr. Hans Tolzer, who's written 140 books on psychics.
Had the pleasure of having him on the show a couple of times.
Well, I'm sorry?
I said I've had the pleasure of having Dr. Holzer on the show a number of times.
Well, yeah, he's passed away.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I did, yeah.
And Dr. Holzer, and I worked together on a lot of projects. And when I first started doing readings, it's the funniest thing. I found my gift. If I got a couple of seconds to tell the story.
Why don't we do this? We're going to take a commercial break, and this way here I'll be able to give you a couple of minutes when we come back. Ron, great talking to you. Exo Nation, our special guest this hour is the one and only Ron Bard. www.thechannelchannel.com and, of course, www.ronbard.com. Ron and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we do our wrap-up for tonight, Monday, August the 9th, in the year 2012, here in the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and XZoneTV.com. And welcome back, everyone. Ron Bard is our special guest. Here's a couple of websites, www.thechannelchannel.com and ronbard.com. First of all, Ron, a great pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to the next time you and I meet here in the X-Zone. And before we went to the break, Ron, we were talking about you working with Dr. Hans Holzer, a man I have enormous respect for. And how did you develop your psychic ability, or how did you know that you had gained?
It's a cool story. I got out of the Army. Mm-hmm. A quick story. I had $500. I was an MP in Germany, and my mom was already a famous psychic. Her name was Yolanda, and Hans used to quote her as the queen of psychics. So anything you see Hans write, he'll always refer to her as the queen of psychics. So anyway, I have $500 left. I decide I get out of the Army. I buy this Cadillac 4-door, and I'm hustling rides, and I'm driving around guys like Ron Perlman, Diane von Furstenberg, Barry Diller, and all these kind of people. By the way, that last song I was doing a little headbanging. I almost cut my head. That was a great song. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and I'm driving this woman whose grandfather or father, she was old as dust, and she, like really square, and I'm her grandfather or father supposedly had the patent on the paper bag or some crazy thing like that, and I'm driving by St. Patrick's Cathedral. And I see this other guy that I remember when I was homeless. I stopped the car. I jumped out. Hey, how you doing? And all of a sudden, these two old ladies are in the back seat screaming. Arr! So I said, "Oh shit, I gotta go." So I go into the car, and I start to pull off the curb, and I get cut off, and the New Yorker in me got the best of me. Mm-hmm. Up went the hand signals, yeah. And all the accoutrements and the vocals that went with that. And all of a sudden, I kind of like looked in the back seat, and the women were gone, and the doors were open. So I said, I got to go to my mom's house. I go to my mom's house. She's doing readings. She says, go inside, relax. If the doorbell rings, let the client in, offer him coffee, and shut up. So I said, okay. So, and she said, don't be a horse's patoot. That was her famous word.
We got about 60 seconds, Ron.
All right, so at the end of the day, she says, tell me something. And I said, tell you what. I said, your husband got a new blue uniform. And it turned out it was a wise guy's wife who turned himself in to do a bid. So I went to go see Holzer, who she sent over, and the first prediction I made with Holzer was the World Trade Center. Years later, because I only got a paragraph in the book, so they thought it was the first World Trade Center. So years later, I saw Hans, and he goes, remember this. And he slid the folder across the desk, and I talked about all the airplanes and all that stuff. And I go, wow, I didn't even remember that. So he goes, wow, cool, thanks. So,
Ron, you and we've just run out of time, Ron. I wish we had more time, but we will bring you back on because you and I still have so much to talk about. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Continued success, and don't lose your sense of humor. I love it.
Try not to. And listen, thank you so much. And I look forward to your great success and seeing you in front of the camera, and God bless you and yours.
God bless you too, Ron. Ron Bard has been my guest this hour. Exonation, www.thechannelchannel.com and ronbard.com. We'll be back tomorrow night, everyone. Take care. Good night now.